maybe like the first 5 minutes of that meeting.
We'll take a look at it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Everybody ready?
Go.
All right. I hereby, my name is Darius Shanfar, and I hereby call this meeting of the City of Albany Industrial Development Agency Finance Committee to order. For roll call, I am here. Darius Shanfar. Lee Eck is on the phone.
I'm here.
Jakeen Hoke.
Present.
Tracy Metzger.
Present.
Dominic Calcelaro.
Present.
Bob Schofield is also here, not a member of the committee, but member of the agency. And Susan Petto as well. So our first order of business, the minutes having been previously distributed, I would call for a motion to waive the reading and accept them as presented.
Make the
So
motion.
moved.
Great, thank you. Any discussion? Any questions?
I just want to make sure I made there was a correction in the minutes for the, I mentioned this to Andrew and sent a note to Tammy to correct it. They mentioned that it said it with the exception of Bob Schofield as a committee member, but he's not on the committee in the minutes for the attendance.
Okay,
So, yeah, so that should be corrected.
well, with so you're making a motion to correct the minutes to reflect that?
Yes.
Right. I'll dispense with the proprieties and I'll second it myself. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So we have a motion on the table to approve the minutes as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Lee is abstaining.
Joaquin, I
No.
was present.
Is abstaining. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to the report of the Chief Financial Officer, if any.
There is none this month.
Okay. Any unfinished business? Hearing none. I'm going to move on to other business, agency update and compliance, and move the new business to the end of the agenda. So,
Sure.
Sarah, why don't you go ahead with the
Sure.
agency update?
We have a very brief agency update today. We had hoped to have more news from the state on the agency update side, but nothing yet. So we will just stick with the compliance update. We did receive our annual inquiry from the ABO related to our Paris report that was submitted. So staff will be working through that to answer any questions that they have and report back to the board.
Terrific. Anything on the compliance side?
Am I missing anything, Andy or Tom? I think so. I think we're
Real quick, just a report that in speaking with Council Joe Scott, he is working through the termination and the reconveyance of the dialect property. So that is ongoing and going as expected and smoothly.
Great. All right, anything else under other business?
nothing from
All
us.
right. And I will move on to new business, which is the Capitalize Albany Corporation's project introduction for the Liberty Park acquisition assistance. I think I will, I guess I'll toss it over to Joe to talk about it, unless Sarah, you wanted to do an introduction.
Yeah, I'd just like to make the statement that as the committee is aware, Capitalize Albany Corporation has submitted an application to CADA seeking its assistance with the acquisition by eminent domain of 11 underutilized parcels. It consists of approximately 0.88 acres of stagnant surface parking lots in the blighted Liberty Park district of downtown Albany. As you all are aware, I'd like you to also just please note that Capitalize Albany staff will not participate and has not to date participated in the IDA's review of the Capitalize Albany application. And accordingly, staff will recuse themselves from and during any IDA evaluation of, deliberation on, and voting related to the Capitalize Albany application. So with that, at this time, because the Capitalize Albany has not been asked or invited to make a presentation related to the application at this time, all Capitalize Albany staff is going to recuse ourselves from this call in the event that, that the IDA would have further deliberation at this meeting. And we will wait for guidance from the IDA on that matter. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
So Joe, I'm gonna turn over to you as the host of the meeting, but can call-in user number 1 identify themselves so the committee knows who's on the line?
We just need to be able to record that for our participants in the minutes of the public meeting.
I don't know if I'm calling number 1. I just got unmuted, so I'm guessing I am. This is Jack Calariso from Gleason's on Walsh and O'Shea.
Great, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, and with that, Capitalize Albany team, if you could sign off, please.
So we'll wait until they sign off and then I'll start up my report on this matter.
That'd be great. Thanks, Joe.
Yep. Sure thing, Darius.
Hey, Lee, did you catch any fish?
All right, I think we're live. I know we're live. So I'll just start my report. Again, this is a preliminary rollout of the application. First thing I'll do is I'll confirm the comments that Sarah Pinelli offered to the group. You'll recall that we've had a lot of preparatory work done with respect to the fact that CAC staff will not be acting as staff for the IDA on this matter, that they're the project applicant. So they won't be involved in providing administrative or services to the IDA in connection with the consideration of the matter. So I'll start by confirming Sarah's report or Sarah's remarks. And then the balance is just frankly administrative. We've received the application. If you haven't received a copy, you can see that it's posted on the IDA website along with extensive appendices. And so both we've received it and it's been posted appropriately. With respect to moving forward, with respect to proceeding or processing the application, my office has prepared a draft funding agreement to be entered into between the IDA and CAC with respect to the payment of costs, fees, expenses, and the ultimate purchase price of the project site. There's no action required to be taken today at this Finance Committee meeting. We do expect, however, that this will be an agenda item for the board meeting, the full board meeting next week. And at that time, CAC will make a formal presentation to the full board with respect to the project. And again, that's consistent with what Sarah talked about during her introductory remarks. My partner, Dick Weiss, who's appeared before this board a number of times to deal with and address condemnation questions. He will be available if there are any questions with respect to the condemnation process. And then with respect to an action item for the board meeting next week, we do need to initiate action with respect to the preparation of an appraisal report. In order to do that, we need to hire an appraiser. So I would expect that we'll be presenting a resolution to you for soliciting proposals for an appraiser so that we can begin that process. I think that's all I have to say with respect to the matter. And so with that, I'll pass it back to Chair Darius to open it up for any comments or questions. Again, this is just a preliminary rollout with respect to this. There's opportunity for full discussion at the full board meeting next week following the formal presentation by CAC on behalf of their project that they're submitting to the IDA board. And so with that, back to you, Darius.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions at this point?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the funding agreement. What's the time frame on that? I would think we'd have that in place prior to taking any action on an appraiser.
What I expect, and you're absolutely right, Tracy, I would expect that it'll be completed, might not be completed by the board meeting next week, but it will be completed before we sign any contracts for the expenditure of money. So absolutely correct. I agree with you.
Thank you.
And the contract would be with, and the money would come from where, Joe?
The money is, the contract is with CAC, and it's, and it would involve both, well, primarily New York State funds with respect to the funding that CAC got to undertake this project.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions, comments? All right.
It's in regards to the media that was out there. I didn't read the article, but some people had contacted me about it. Did anybody read that Business Review article about what was in the newspaper? And is that anything that we should be concerned about with the, what is it, eminent domain or anything?
Well, there was an article in the Business Review and the Times Union, and I thought it was, frankly, factual.
Yeah.
I mean, no surprises, from my standpoint.
I didn't get to read it yet, so.
And if there are any concerns, we can certainly discuss it next week, and we can go into executive session if you'd like, Jackeen, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's actually fairly straightforward for a takings proceeding like this, but at least at this juncture.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions, comments? All right. So with that, I don't know, is there any other business, anything else anyone wants to discuss? All right. Then I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Tracy.
I'll second. Dominic.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds
All right,
good. Thank you.
I'm going to end the meeting now, and I'll end the YouTube. Thank you. Take care.
Thank
Thank you.
There it is. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Lee.